Chapter 4, Section 2 is entitled Integer Exponents. Our objective here is to simplify expressions with negative exponents and evaluate the zero exponent. Let's start with the concept of the negative exponent. Now, we can't treat a negative exponent like we do a positive exponent. Think about what a problem like 3 to the second meant. A problem like 3 to the second meant I was going to make a giant multiplication question with 3 in there 2 times. That kind of makes sense. But then if I were to try and make it negative, that means I'd be taking 3 and writing it in a multiplication question negative 2 times. And obviously that doesn't make any sense to us. That has no meaning to us. We can't multiply something together a negative number of times and come up with a solution. So here we have to give different meaning to the idea of a negative exponent. So what they're starting off with here in number 1 are 10 to the negative second and 10 to the negative first, which are actually equivalent to decimal place values. That's actually what these work out to be. They're the decimal place values, the tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths place. And we can apply the same knowledge that we'll gain from these questions to any number, not just place values. So in the first one, we have 10 to the negative second, and we're supposed to simplify and write in decimal form. So what you're going to want to do here when you have a question with a negative exponent is you want to go ahead and write it as a fraction. So I'm going to write it as 10 to the negative second over 1. What you're going to do is isolate the part that has the negative exponent and flip it to the other side of the fraction. And if that were to by chance leave something vacant, which it will most times, you're going to fill in that vacancy with a 1. So here where I have 10 to the negative second, that's the part I'm going to isolate and flip to the other side of the fraction. So on the bottom, I've got that 1 that was already there. And when you flip it, that's going to make it go positive, which solves our problem of having a negative exponent. So now it's going to be 10 to the second. And the top, well, the top now, there's nothing left on the top because I flipped that down. And again, as I said a moment ago, when you have a vacancy, you fill that in with 1. So this is 1 over 1 times 10 to the second. Now, 10 to the second is something we can solve. 10 to the second is the same as 10 times 10, of course. 10 times 10 is 100. So this is equal to 1 over 1 times 100. And, of course, that's just going to simplify to 1 over 100, which is what you can see is right here. And then since they asked for a decimal form, you're going to divide 1 by 100 and get 0.01. So obviously we've given definition to the hundredths place. We have 1 in the hundredths place with 0.01. Let's try that again with 10 to the negative first. Same idea here. We're going to go ahead and write that as a fraction. And then we're going to isolate that part that has the negative exponent and flip it to the other side of the fraction, and that will make it positive. So the top is going to be left vacant, but on the bottom I'm going to have 1 that was already there, and now 10 to the first. Again, the exponent is becoming positive. Top is vacant, so that's going to be a 1. This is going to be 1 over 1 times 10, or 1 over 10, or 1/10, or 0.1. So obviously now we've given definition to the tenths place value there as well. And from that you should be able to figure out if 10 to the negative first is the tenths, and 10 to the negative second is the hundredths. Obviously, the thousandths place is going to be 10 to the negative third, and the 10,000ths place is going to be 10 to the negative fourth, and so on down the list we travel. So, now instead of talking about place values, let's just put this into work here with some actual questions, where they're asking us to simplify 5 to the negative third. So as you can see, they've done exactly what we just did in the last question first. They wrote this as a fraction, 5 to the negative third over 1. And then they took this piece and flipped it to the other side of the fraction, which made it positive. So the top is going to be vacant when we do that. And the bottom is going to be the 1 that's already there and 5 to the third. Well, as you can see, what they did there in the bottom is they just eliminated the 1. If it was 1 times 7, we would just write 7. If it was 9, we'd write 1 times 9. 1 times 9 would just be 9. So that's exactly what they did here. They got rid of this and just wrote it as 1 over 5 to the third. 5 to the third is, of course, 3 5s being multiplied together.